Hey everybody, Danny J here along with LeGrand Jackson.
That's
What's going on? That's right. That's right. That's what he said. So anyway, this is Cape's Not Included. You're on the DJB Productions Network. Make sure you drop down, hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, right down there, right below him, and make sure you hit that.
That looked off.
Hit that right there. Hit that right there. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing. And make sure you're checking us out on Facebook and stuff like that. The Facebook page is called Lost in Saturday Morning / Capes Not Included. It's combined with another show, which is on hiatus right now. But right now, Capes Not Included right here for you. Right here on the DJB Productions Network. And you. So today we're going to talk about the de-evolution of the Arrowverse. What do we mean by that? Well, we just recently found out that Arrow, coming up in its eighth season. Its eighth season will be its final season for the show. Just
shame.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's just undercutting Smallville, which went 10 seasons.
Right.
And I think Smallville, that was a record for a sci-fi superhero show to go that long. If I'm not mistaken, 10 seasons.
I believe you're right.
I think so.
If we're not right, let us know.
We're going to acknowledge it or something like it. But
I'll acknowledge it.
He won't. But I won't. I'll just glaze right over it. But yeah, the Arrow's ending next year, and there's a lot of implications with that. We're looking into that because what happens is it's deemed the Arrowverse. It was the first of all these many spinoffs. And these other shows can be considered spinoffs because they all kind of spawned from Arrowverse. Mm-hmm. They have the multi collection of the shows at the end of each year, with this coming year being Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
That will be the ending, I believe, for Arrow.
That'll be the swan song.
That'll be the swan song. Will be Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Which kind of sucks.
It does. It does. The funny thing was, when Arrow first came out, they had this scenario saying, hey, we're going to keep this very grounded. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get very superhero-like or anything like that. We're going to make sure that it is just like a show. And I think what it was is that they were trying to get a television version of Batman.
Yes.
And they focused it on Arrow. Arrow being very, very similar. Even in the comics, they're kind of like rivals in a sense because
they're both rich.
They both have no powers.
Both brooding.
Yeah, both are very smart, and both have a very horrible backstory. Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's like, I'm worse than you. No, I'm worse than you. And meanwhile, let's beat up these criminals and so on and so forth. So it makes for a fun rivalry between the two. But it was the scenario where we were trying to get Batman out of Arrow. Okay.
And if you look at the darkness that they put on the Arrow show,
yes,
it's Gotham-like.
It is very much Gotham-like. Like none of these cities seem like a good place to live.
Dude,
Central City seems like
from
the best
Philly.
place.
I wouldn't go there.
Right? That's what I'm saying, So it's one of those things where we're like, okay, but we've had it now for 7 seasons. We fell in love with all these characters. We've even had nods to other characters like John Deagle. For the longest time, they rumored he should be the Green Lantern.
And from what I was reading, Deagle is actually his mother's maiden name. And they were actually pushing for that to be actually
John Stewart.
Right.
Right. And the thing is, if you go back to the most recent combination of shows,
right,
the 1990s Flash comes back and makes a reference to Deagle not having his power ring.
Right.
So it kind of sets it up to say, oh, well, he must be John, or they even said that Deagle could have been his middle name. So John Deagle Stewart. Deagle's a very horrible name. If that's your middle name.
Too close to Dingleberry.
Yes, you know what I mean. But that would be kind of cool because you got to figure in the comic books, the Green Arrow and the Green Lantern did a lot of team ups.
Yeah, they were buddies.
They were team up comics galore. I mean, so that made sense to say Ollie is friends with the Green Arrow. or with the Green Lantern, rather.
Because if you read the Spectre comics,
yes,
does anybody read Spectre comics?
I don't know.
I love the Spectre.
There you go. The Spectre was a neat character, and for those of you out there who don't know what the Spectre is,
my nerd.
The Spectre is the punishment of, well, the first one was Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan. No, well, he wasn't the first, but Hal Jordan inherited the title Spectre once he died and everything, and it took Ollie to come. Well, yeah, Ollie had to come in
and help him out there.
Yeah.
And the reason why that happened was because that was right after the whole he turned evil.
Yes.
And destroyed the world, destroyed the universe, actually.
And wanted to remake it so he could bring back his friends and everybody he cared about. Because remember, the whole thing for Hal back then, that's when Hal had the cape. And
yes.
He was all too chained out with like 60 rings.
So, Lil Wayne as fucking Green Lantern.
Yeah, I gotta make this power.
Yeah! You got like Lil Jon. What? Zap.
I'm gonna remake the universe.
Yeah. So that was the craziness behind that. There is a relationship there, and it makes sense to kind of do it. But they really were like against having the Arrow program dealing with superpowers of any nature, because they really wanted a Batman show. Is really what they wanted. And
they couldn't do a Batman show for a host of reasons.
Yes.
One of them was licensing. They were having an issue with the network itself. All they could think about was, it's going to turn into the 66 campy Batman. Like, it's not.
It's really not
66 anymore.
No, and we're not going anywhere near that anymore.
Right. So,
but it's one of those things where now we move on, we say, all right, but now look at all the shows that spawned from Arrow. You have The Flash. You have Legends of Tomorrow, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. You have Supergirl. Now, Supergirl was the odd one out because that was on CBS originally for the first season, and then moved to CW. When CBS, once again, did not want to be deemed the superhero network, they had a real problem with that.
And I don't see what the problem was.
If you're making money, who cares what network you're deemed? I don't really care. You know what I mean? If that's pulling your cash, pulling your cash. I personally love Supergirl. Yes. I love watching it. I think the characters are great. I think Melissa Benoist,
so cute.
She is adorable. And I love her. I literally love that woman. She does a great job with it. And I first off said, I don't know how you're going to make a series out of Supergirl.
Excuse me 1 second. As to his wife, don't take that personally. This is a comic book thing.
Yes.
Don't kill him.
Don't kill him.
We need him for the show.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yes. So, thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button down below before she does. But it's. I said myself, how is Supergirl going to be a show? She's not really a main character.
Right.
Really, in the comics, she's really not a main character. She is
tertiary.
She's above a supporting character, but she's not a main character, if you kind of get my drift a little bit. And for a good amount of time, she was Lex Luthor's girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that one little scenario of life. You know what I mean? So you're like, why? It's like having a show about Mercy. Lex Luthor's bodyguard.
You know what? I would like to see the evolution of Mercy, though. Because if you think about it, she was really badass.
Yeah, and she's actually badass on the show. If you see,
she is.
On the show, they have her on there. And hats off to John Cryer. And this is what I love about Supergirl.
Oh my God,
Supergirl has this thing where they will incorporate anything in superhero genre-esque. Saying, hey, like for example, her adopted mother on Earth is Supergirl from the movies. From the movies. Her father was Dean Cain from Lois and Clark. Okay, Superman. They had a number of different references. They do a number of different line references from the movies.
Yes,
with Christopher Reeves,
which is awesome because it's like little Easter egg nuggets for us who really were into that.
And then they even actually have on the show now. They have Otis. Now he's not Ned Beatty, so he's actually like this brooding kind of big dude, but he's still dopey,
and that's
which is awesome.
It's awesome, but I wanted that flumpy, lumpy, oh, Mr. Luthor.
Yeah. I mean, he still does that, but he's like this football player guy, doing it instead.
I'm 6'2", 260 pounds of muscle, but I'm a goof.
I'm just a big dope, And then he has Miss Tessmacher, right? So this is all dating back to the first Superman movie.
An awesome nod to the original.
Yes.
To hear John Cryer,
Tessmacher,
Miss Tessmacher, and she comes in,
and you say, and for those out there who are not nerds, you're saying, well, what's so big about John Cryer? John Cryer in Superman 4, which is by far the worst of the movies, he was the nephew
of Lex Luthor.
And they had him in that movie. He was the comic relief along with
Ned Beatty.
Well, Ned Beatty wasn't in that movie. In Superman 4, but
the young woman, I can't remember her name.
Yes. Well, who was in there? It was that not Faye Dunaway, but you know what I'm talking about. The one with the eyebrows. She bought the Daily Planet.
Right.
Blah blah blah. I can't think of her name, but something like Dunaway or something like that. She was like the new love interest of Clark. There you go. He's going to look it up. So, but John Cryer was Lex Luthor's like goofy, out of his gourd nephew on Superman 4. So that worked out very well in that sense. And to bring him back in as Lex Luthor, and I'm watching it with my daughter,
Mariel Hemingway.
That's it. I don't know where I was getting the other name from. But what's the name? My daughter's like looking at it. She's watching it because she half-ass watches the show with me.
Right.
She doesn't really give two craps about watching it.
Right.
But I said, you know who that is, right? And she goes, no. And I said, that's the guy from 2.5 Men, because she watches all those series. Now they're on Paramount.
Of course.
And she's like, oh my God, yeah, that's him. I said, yeah. And now he's Lex Luthor. And I said, he's doing a great job. How about it? He's doing a great job as Lex Luthor.
He is awesome.
He is by far the best Lex Luthor next to Gene Hackman.
And which is saying a lot, because you have
Kevin Spacey. Who, like, yeah. Okay. It wasn't bad.
He was okay.
He was not bad. I don't think Kevin Spacey was bad. I think the writing of the movie was bad.
In hindsight, seeing all the stuff that Kevin Spacey's been on.
Yeah, true.
Kind of lived the life of the evil villain.
Yes. And he portrayed it right on television.
Yeah, like when he had Superman bent over and he just jammed it. Yeah. Never mind.
But and then what happened was, there's one time at band camp, and then but then you have the worst rendition of Lex Luthor, which was that kid in Batman versus Superman. That was, I don't even want to talk about it. It was so bad.
I mean,
horrible. There was no reason for it whatsoever. It made Lex Luthor look like a complete screwball, and nowhere near as someone that could go against Superman.
I know what they were going for, that he was so much of a genius that he was
out there.
Super quirky.
Yeah.
Because they say, with genius comes quirks and idiosyncrasies that you just can't you can't put your finger on. It's just, that's how they are. I think by the end of the movie, and the hair loss.
Well, you know what though?
But
when you look at it though, and if you cover all the renditions together, Lex Luthor, although a genius, is an opportunist, and he, I think, does not think outside of. Like, I don't think he's as big a genius as they make him out to be, because of the fact that he's like someone who it's a real estate scam.
Mm-hmm.
It's this, it's that. He doesn't think of like outer worldly.
Well, it depends
scenarios.
on what Lex you're looking at. Plus, if you think about it, Lex operates out of fear.
Yes.
Lex, his whole thing is, I'm afraid of this, so I'm doing this. But enough. Let's get back to Arrow.
Yeah, let's get back to the Arrow.
Because there's a bunch of different characters in Arrow that we really want to see where they go, or if they're going to get the opportunity to be pulled into their own right, their big shining moment. You know?
Now they're doing this thing now where they used to do the flashback.
Yes.
And now in the probably starting this season, or was it last season? Probably this season, I think it was, where they started doing the flash forwards. It's this season.
I believe it is this season.
It's this season they started doing flash forwards. And now we're seeing young, what's his name, the son?
Oh, don't.
Yeah, the son.
I'm so horrible with names.
I hate the kid. I hate him now. But what we're seeing is we're
on the babies.
I don't, please jerk off the kid. but it's him. Now we're seeing he is a grown up in his mid-20s or late 20s. We're seeing the child of Felicity and Oliver.
Yes,
the daughter. And for whatever reason, and it's still not explained, it's kind of like, this is the kind of thing that's kind of bugging me a little bit. It's kind of like this it's not apocalyptic future.
Yeah.
But it's like
really crappy.
It's really crappy, and it's almost there. It's almost like a martial law.
Right.
It's almost like a martial law future, if that kind of makes sense. So think of like, there's a lot of running around secretly and stuff like that because you can't do this, you can't do that, and evil people are in control of everything.
Everything is foreboding.
But you don't know why. You have no idea why. All you get is that the next generation are jaded by our heroes,
right? Because
for some reason they caused this.
Yeah.
Either because of the hype machine, which if you follow the Arrow universe, it's a big thing of saying like vigilantes are bad.
Exactly.
They're causing the problems. If they weren't around, the regular police would be able to take care of normal criminals, and we wouldn't have these extraordinary criminals and blah blah blah. And that's something that they've done since the beginning of comic book time, superheroes. But in these futures, these bleak futures, it apparently is that monster, that propaganda has really taken effect, where a lot of people truly believe the vigilantes were bad. Not that they were evil, but they're the cause of the problem. And therefore, I'm not going to support them. And you even get like one of them is the mayor in the future. And he's kind of shifty. Like, you're like, where did that come from? Like, this is a guy that, like, it was when he first came on, you're like, this guy is not a superhero. He looks like he's a hood rat off the street. And he's just trying to play vigilante.
Right.
You know what I mean? He looks like a gang member and stuff like that. Renee, we're talking about. And then Renee really comes in his own, and he becomes this very virtuous character. That he's like, hey, you know what? I believe in good, but I'm keeping you grounded because, hey, dude, this is how real life is happening. You know what I mean? I don't come from money. So this is affecting me personally.
This is affecting me and everybody like me.
Like me. So he's the representation. Because Ollie being rich, it's like you're protecting the city, but it's like, well, you deemed yourself the protector. You can kind of get that notion of saying, well, like, who the hell are you to protect me? You know what I mean? You know, that type of thing. You don't struggle the way I struggle. Tomorrow,
you don't know what it's like to eat syrup sandwiches.
Ollie's been with every hot chick on that show. So, Ollie, you do not know what's happening in this.
Until you pick up the 3 a.m. late shift waitress.
That's
with
right.
Like a gut and 15 kids.
And you're paying for dinner with your
the change,
with your access card.
Or the change out your ashtray or cup
you know
container.
What I mean? Yeah, you don't know. You don't know anything.
You don't know my life.
So that's where Renee comes in. Renee is like, I'm the other half. I'm who you're protecting in a sense. And I'm representing them. For intents purposes, I'm the best of the people you're protecting. So I believe in what you're doing, but I need to do this on my level because I think you're overshooting.
Right.
You know, in a sense. So that made him a cool character. Wild Dog is his code name. But he becomes a mayor in these futurist, like, flash forwards. And he's like shady. Like, he's doing like shady shit. And you're like, and then he's got that goofy hairdo. I don't know where that is. It's really goofy hairdo. Like, I'm used to seeing this dude like with his nice crop, and then also he's got this like It's like I'm a Sears mannequin thing going like this, and it's like salt and pepper gray.
Ooh,
it's not even natural salt and pepper.
Well, you know.
I was just like, who's cutting this kid's hair? That's what I'm worried about. Don't worry about martial law. Who the fuck? Are you a hair cutter? Do you have hair cutters in the glades?
Supercuts.
Is supercuts in the glades?
The mayor.
Come on,
He's the mayor. That's a Police Academy reference.
He's the mayor. So what you do is you go in and you see these flashbacks, and now they're fighting Renee for all intents and purposes. And Renee is actually somewhat. I think Renee's under the in these flash forwards. I think he's trying to say at the end result, the better good would be this, and I have to do this shady thing to get to where I'm going. I don't think
ends
he really
justifies the means.
Yeah, his ends justify the means, and I think it's because Renee doesn't have faith in following the path.
Right.
And that's his thing. You know, he's like, you know what? As long as it gets to this end, I don't care how we get there. And some of the other heroes are like, well, no, this is how we make sure that we get there. Is by following the path. So it's a conflict in interest between the characters.
Right.
And so it's interesting, but like Felicity Ollie's daughter, she kind of pisses me off a little bit because she's like an asshole. She is an asshole.
Complete.
And not an asshole in the sense of saying she's stupid or a dopey or something like that. No, you're like, dude, what a bitch.
Yeah. Most of the time.
You're like, what a bitch.
You see her coming like, oh, this bitch.
This bitch, right? And then you got him there, and he's like, now he's playing up the gay. Remember I said before, like I had to mention he was gay, just so you knew he was gay. But now he's kind of playing up the gay because he, coming from Oliver, by far,
all the hot guys he can find.
Yeah, he is not a vigilante. He is by far the farthest thing from a vigilante you will ever see, right? He's smart. But you would think, being his kid and being Felicity's kid, that he would, like, he knows stuff,
right?
But the way he goes about it is very naive. You know, like in other words, the sister, who's younger than him, by it has to be 12, 13 years.
At least.
At least. She could run everything. You know what I mean?
Sister, like, by far. If he was to slip and fall in the tub tomorrow,
would have to take care of him.
Could take care of everything.
Everything.
She would probably fix the city.
So if I was Oliver, I would disappear too. If that was my kid. I was like, not because he's gay, but because you can't function, kid. You're non-functioning. You know
why?
My daughter had to take care of everything. Like, what the hell, happened to you?
By 2 years old, she was changing her own diaper and doing our taxes.
Yeah, she's throwing stars. By 4,
you're still eating pudding with your fingers, kid. What the hell?
She was shooting blow darts in preschool, stuff like that.
Doing
like
backflips. She was on the island doing the trials.
yeah. Our preschool was on the island with Slade, right? So that's what's going on there.
Beat
now,
Slade in 30 minutes.
Let's jump over to Legends real quick.
Okay,
it kind of directly. All these shows are directly affected. Okay, right. Legends has completely lost its way, in my opinion. Legends was where we had these core figures. They were supporting characters, once again, spinoff of Arrow in the Arrowverse, starting with the Hawkman, Hawkwoman,
which I was upset when they got rid of.
They were great characters.
I loved.
They were great characters. Yeah, and the fact that they were fighting, what's his face, the guy that lives forever. That makes a much better Legion of Doom head than Lex Luthor. Vandal Savage. I think this is great. And have Vandal be their constant enemy. Like, they kind of went with Damien Dark, because Damien Dark, the actor's great.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
He is awesome. He played Bison in the second Street Fighter movie.
The Chung-Li
movie. He played Bison in that. So I'm like, all right, cool.
That movie was garbage, but he was great.
He was great in it. I liked it just for that. But he's a great character. But Vandal Savage is a very cool villain because he's a caveman that gets powers from a meteorite that crashes in his land, and he lives forever. Period. He does not die. So therefore, you have this eternal evil guy, right, who's out there fighting people, and then the Hawkmen and the Hawkwomen. Then they don't really go with Thanagar. They go more so with the thing of they're the I don't understand it as much. It's like they're possessed by the spirits of them.
The body will die, but the spirit gets passed on to the next.
Right.
And it's like, all right, I'm okay with that, but you know,
I kind of like Thanagarian police.
Yes,
I liked having just they're from another world and they have wings. That would have been great for me. I didn't need that much. Don't educate me that much. I just wanted they're from another planet and they fly here.
Just make it good.
Just make it good. Just make them mace.
Hit stuff.
Gotta hit stuff.
Flap your wings.
So they're on there. They get X'd off after a couple of minutes. And
and Xing off Hawkman, which I don't like, but you know,
they were so determined to have Hawkwoman on there. Like they did not want to have Hawkman for some reason.
Because the Justice League Unlimited and Justice League cartoons, they didn't have Hawkman until later on, and then they introduced him. But you figure she was one of the main characters from that.
Yes.
So if you have somebody in production and all that, who that's what they knew growing up.
Yes.
Then that's what. All right, we're gonna have Hawkwoman. Well, you know, technically Hawkman. No, Hawkwoman. And
yeah.
Like, but she. Was
and I think they just needed to have a girl on there. Is what they wanted.
Plus,
at the end of the day,
it would have been nice to keep her around and then have Green Lantern hook up. Then we get that. Yeah, Warhawk. We now get that live action. Get Warhawk. That was
that would have been awesome. Now, the Legends, their initial thing is to correct. Well, first off, it was a one-off mission.
Right.
When it first starts, it's a one-off mission, and they have to fight Vandal Savage.
Right.
Okay. And Rip Oliver, is that his name? Rip Oliver? Yeah. Rip Oliver, who's from the Time Bureau, he recruits these people and says, now, right from the get-go, they make him out to be like, these are the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't understand if that's like in the comics, because I don't know if there's a Legends comic. Is there?
I've never seen
but they're making it in the bottom. So you have Sarah Lance, who's now the White Canary.
Right.
She's badass as shit. There ain't nothing loser about her.
At all.
You get Ray Palmer, who's the Atom, who, by the way, has been
Superman.
It's been Superman. But by the way, the Atom has appeared, the number of times I can say in 2 hands.
Uh-huh.
In now 3-4 seasons.
Which is very crazy.
It's very low. And then not for nothing too, they are making him a goofy version of Tony Stark.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't want to say that.
No, but they are. They are making him a goofy version of Tony Stark. They're not just making him Ray Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Ray, for being such a genius, shouldn't be so goofy. It goes back to what you said just a few moments ago, saying like he's so out there and stuff like that. But Ray is like a 7-year-old Boy Scout. Like he almost seems like what Shazam should be. You know what I mean? Like I'm a boy in this big child.
I'm a boy in a man's body.
You know what I mean?
I've never experienced anything, but
he's so goofy in that sense. And I'm like, what the hell, you know? Which, by the way, Matt Sunner is trying to get on with us.
Yeah, you know, and we would. Matt's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're trying to get Matt on here. Matt's trying to come on the show, and we're having some technical difficulties, so we're going to try and get him on. If he can't, then he says hi. but other than that, but getting back to this, you move forward. Now, their intent was to say, we're going to rotate the cast out.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That way we could filter in new heroes. And budget-wise, you figure it's a scenario where it's like, well, we can't afford to have this guy. So we're going to filter them out. So I was very sad when they got rid of Firestorm. Because Firestorm was a great character.
Oh, my God. I loved he was one of my favorite cartoon characters back in the 80s when they had the Justice League TV show. And you had Firestorm, and he was it was so cool.
You know, and this version of it, this is the latter version of it. This is because they got rid of
the Professor.
Well, they got rid. I was going to say in Firestorm, they got rid of Ronnie Raymond, and this is now Jackson, who's the second Firestorm,
right?
Who's who they went with.
Right.
Why? I don't know. What do these ML kids? They don't want to work, or they don't want to get. They don't want to pay the ML kids for some reason. So they go with Jackson, who you're like, okay, cool, and you finally get a full-fledged Firestorm
Right.
out of him with the costume and everything. You're like, this is cool,
The
right?
full shebang, and we were all craving it. And they kept putting it out there that it was coming, and then they finally delivered, and it delivered well. And
then they get rid of him, a la the second crossover, first crossover. I forget if it's the first or second, but it's the one where it's the Earth X.
When the professor dies.
Yeah, when the professor dies.
Yeah.
I think it's Earth X.
Yeah.
And the professor dies, and it was. Let me tell you something. It was for me. I cried.
Mm-hmm.
During those death scenes and stuff like that, because I was like, this is like, they did it very well.
You get so emotionally invested
in these guys, and you're just like, oh my God.
And it was you know what was heartbreaking? When the professor had his family.
Yes.
And they had to correct everything, and he started losing them.
Yes.
And because they're outside of that timeline.
Yeah.
They don't forget any of that.
Yes.
So it sticks with them. And that's really telling.
Very heart-wrenching,
yeah.
Oh, and the fact that it's like you have this power to correct bad things.
Right.
And in some cases, it's not morally correct to do so.
Right.
It has to happen this way. And so you're stuck with these characters being forced to mourn, being forced to lose. I guess in the end for the greater good, in a scenario. So you have that going on, but now you have Firestorm leave because the professor dies, and we bring in Constantine, who great character and great actor, playing
very
Constantine.
Very much so.
Constantine was on NBC. I watched the first season. It was good.
It was very good.
It was very good. I enjoyed it. NBC was like, you know what? We're not going to be done with this. Yeah. So they canceled it, right? So now he falls up on Arrow, for a little bit here and there. And everybody was like, oh, that's cool. We get a little, we get to see him one more time here or there. And then I said, you know what? Everybody really wants Constantine. So let's put him on Legends.
Right.
Okay. And he still could work. But now they changed the whole aspect of Legends just to accommodate him. So instead of time anomalies, which that was getting a little old, not for nothing. Once they didn't have somebody to go after, like Vandal Savage, it was like I could see them going through time to stop him from changing time. But just having, this got messed up, and that gets, it makes for some funny commentary, makes for some funny episodes. But it was one of those things where it's like, now you're just doing stupid things. Now you're fighting P.T. Barnum. Now you're fighting, which by the way, was Billy Zane, who was the Phantom.
Yes.
Okay, just to give you a little heads up there. You're fighting.
Is this an Easter egg show?
It is an Easter egg show.
Just popping out stuff. Okay.
Then you're fighting. Then you're fighting unicorns, and then you're fighting fairy godmother,
killer angry unicorns, and fairy godmothers that don't want to go away.
Why? I mean, granted, it was a little funny here and there, but I was like, why? Why are they saying they're losers and making them do loser things?
Yes.
You know what I mean? That kind of pissed me off. Like, they're not redeeming themselves because they're just they're losers in loser problems. As Rob Cannon completely destroys the studio.
Please forgive the background noise. We're under construction.
We're at Cannon Entertainment Studios, by the way, since that was my nod from Rob Cannon to kind of promote the studio real quick.
Yeah, we're under construction right now.
So, he's laughing. But the thing is, it was one of those things where now they're just fighting stupid things.
Right.
They're not thinking. And then you now are getting into the Time Bureau. And you now, in this season, now lose all your great characters. You have Captain Atom. What is it name? Captain Steel. Captain Steel, who, for all intents and purposes, is like, what's the name from the X-Men?
Don't say it.
Yeah, Colossus. He's like Colossus. He just turns metal. But, I guess that was too much of a money grabber, to do. So they only make him use his powers like once every 3 years, right? So now he joins the Time Bureau, gets off the ship.
Budget's a bitch.
It is. And now he's not even doing anything. You don't even mention his powers. Like, this guy's
not spending most of his time at the coffee machine. It
literally, right? You're like, what the hell is that? Then you have the original Vixen, who's the grandmother of our time's Vixen. Okay. She gets killed, right? She gets killed. She gets killed, or goes back to her time and gets killed. Or dies. Yeah. Goes back to her time. And then because for whatever reason we like that actress, let's bring in a shapeshifter and make her look like her for a second, and then she gets stuck like that.
Which makes no sense.
At all. It made no sense at all, right? Now she has a Cockney English accent. Right? And she looked like somebody different up until she did that.
Right.
Loses her power, so that's why she's stuck there. So now I'm like, now she really ain't worth anything. She gets her powers back. But she still stays
as Vixen.
As the Vixen chick. Why don't you go back to the other chick? Or whatever. I don't know. Do something. You know what I mean? So now you got her. Now, she's not a legend. I don't even know who the fuck she is. Right? Then you have this other girl who's out of time, has the powers of Vixen, but she's not Vixen. Right? She's not Vixen.
It's going to be a rogue scenario where she's going to take the powers from her.
I don't know, but she's there, and she never uses her powers either. And she's cute, but she's like, there's nothing to her, right? So then you got Ray, who's being just a screwball all the time, and by all means should be like really lighting shit up with the Wave Runner or the Wave Rider, and should be like really being like the guy who's making shit happen.
Right.
And check this out, check that out, and do this and do that. And making them really like shine. But he's not. And then you got my favorite, who's Rory. You know, and he's writing novels under a pseudonym.
Writing like romance novels.
Romance novels under a pseudonym. Meanwhile, he's the guy who wants to blow people up.
I just want a sandwich and a beer.
And he's only like like one novel away from being a bad guy again.
Dude, one bad review.
One bad review, and I'm going back to being a criminal.
I gotta blow up their publishing house.
You know what I mean? Like, so.
And one quick Easter egg: he also played Dracula in the Blade movie.
Was that him?
That was him.
That was him. Look at that. There you go, a Marvel property.
And there he was also in Prison Break. So.
Well, he was in Prison Break, yeah. And he went back to Prison Break and did that during their hiatus and stuff like that. Yeah, that didn't last too long.
No.
But, you know,
But I love that character.
But the show now is catering around Constantine, because they're fighting not time anomalies. They're fighting mythical beasts that, for some reason, are popping up in time.
Right.
You know? And they fought a possessed puppet that looked like from what's that show, the Crank Yankers. Yeah. Okay, they fought a unicorn. They fought a fairy godmother.
Only love from up above.
You know what I mean? Right. So I don't know what's happening. I still watch the show.
Yeah.
Okay, I still watch the show, but I'm thinking to myself more and more. I'm like, I'm not getting.
What are we doing here?
I'm not getting anything super out of this.
What are we?
You know what I mean? I'm laughing a little bit here and there, but I'm not getting anything super out of it. They now have the Asian girl in there, who now is, for some reason, turning into that Neanderthal thing.
Yeah.
No explanation for that whatsoever.
Here's the problem.
It's all over the place.
You have a lot of characters that you've come to love. For whatever reason, their quirks and so forth and so on. You love these characters. And you're so used to them being them and doing what they're doing. It's not that they're evolving to become more. It's like they're pulling back and making them less.
They are.
And you're introducing other characters, but okay, you're going to introduce this character. Put them in there for 2-3 shows or 2 shows. And then give me a reason to care about this person. Give me a reason why you put this person with the people that we care about. Give me some type of backstory. Give me some type of anything that's going to have me say, okay, they belong with them, or oh, they're going to be a problem for them, and they're going to have to deal with this later on.
Right.
And it's just introducing. It's like, hey, one day, you know, Bewitched, you had one Darren, then you had another Darren. It's like, come on now.
Right.
You can't switch dicks and stream. That just didn't sound right.
Causes problems. Causes marital strife.
That just sounded wrong. I'm sorry.
But you know what though? But you're right though in saying like and now in this season it's all about the Time Bureau.
Right.
And they were the bad guys. Now they're the good guys again. But now they almost made them like a joke version of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
If you notice too. They're doing a lot of copying. I ain't gonna lie. They're doing a shit ton of copying off of Marvel.
Right.
They really, really are. And I don't think they need to. They really don't need to, because one thing that I've noticed about DC and Warner Brothers is that their television series by far outshine their movies.
Oh, leaps and bounds.
By far, be it animated or live action, their television is phenomenal.
Let me tell you something, DC. You have some of the best animated movies I've ever seen. You magnificent bastards.
Yes.
I pre-order all your movies because I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I know it. I might wait until the second week to see Batman versus Superman in the theaters.
Right.
I might wait till the reviews come out to see anything like in the movie theater. But I know for damn good and well sure that your animated movies are going to be fire. And I would love, we would love to be voice actors.
I would love to be a voice actor. I can do many voices.
Look, hey,
I'm just saying I can do many voices.
I'm rocking a Robin t-shirt right now.
You know,
Jiminy Jillikers.
I mean, I'm wearing Spider-Man because I'm a Marvel guy, but I'll switch if you're paying me. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. Now, and I'll tell you this much: if you have the DC Universe streaming service, Titans, pretty good show.
You know what? And that's another thing. Everybody thought that was going to be trash because of all the bullshit that they were trying to throw out there ahead. It's a solid show.
Solid show.
It's a really solid show.
It's a solid show. I'll tell you, the girl who plays Starfire is good. She's very good at what she does. She's sexy.
Yes.
And but it was good. The kid that plays Nightwing gets on my nerves a little bit. Is that bad? I mean, am I right or not?
No,
he gets on my nerves a little bit.
That's what Nightwing was.
You know what I mean? The guy that played, I don't know if you can look it up. I was having trouble finding it. The guy that plays, they have Hawk and Dove in place of Cyborg. And the guy that plays Hawk, if I'm not mistaken, was the guy who played Aquaman on Smallville.
Yeah, I believe
I'm almost dead positive because I actually used to talk to that guy on MySpace of all things. I used to talk to that guy before he was big, and it was funny. But he was, and the girl that plays Dove is just unbelievable. Oh my God, she's so gorgeous. But now, I gotta honestly say, my favorite show is Doom Patrol. I don't know if you watched it yet.
No, I'm gonna binge it.
Binge the hell out of it. It's still in its first season. I think we're on eight episodes.
Okay.
But Doom Patrol leaps and bounds over Titans.
Really?
Leaps and bounds over Titans. You have what's his face that played in The Mummy? Brandon Fraser. Yeah, Brandon Fraser. He plays the robot man. Right? He is hilarious in this show. You have Timothy Dalton, who plays the Professor X guy known as the Chief.
Right.
Okay. And then you have a number of characters. You have Cyborg on there. Who this Cyborg, although he looks just like what he should be as far as Cyborg, the actor's annoying as hell. I don't like the actor at all. I ain't gonna lie. You have this guy who forgive me because I forget their names. I get lost up in the shows and I forget their names. But yeah, there's one guy who's wrapped up because he's all burned up, but he has like an energy force, like an entity inside of him.
Right.
He's in there. He's really good. Then you have the one girl who's the actress from like the 30s.
Yeah.
She never ages when she turns into like a blob. Right, when she loses her control. And then you have Jane, who's super cute. She's super cute. but she's got 64 different personalities, and each personality has its own power. I said, that's awesome. That is so great. This show is phenomenal. And you know what it is? The quirkiness is almost like a comic book.
Exactly.
They fight a mule. They have to go inside, folks. They have to go inside a mule's ass to go to another dimension. Think about that for a second. A whole city, a whole town gets sucked into a mule's ass, right? And they have to go into the ass of this mule to go get them out. And then when they get in there, the mule throws them up to get them out of his body. I'm laughing because it was just a funny thing to think about, but it was it's very comic book-esque. It really is.
Of a shitty situation.
It is. Tell me about it. But that's with the Arrow. We jumped off of Arrowverse for a second, but
and then we went back and cleared that up. Then we went to Legends.
So, which, like I said, lost its way. We're losing Arrow, but Legends still hasn't had any kind of like problem with being canceled. I would have canceled.
Don't say that, man.
I would have canceled it after last season.
Dude, I wouldn't.
I really did not like what they did with Legends.
I may not like everything they did with the last season,
and like the whole last season.
I'm waiting for them to right the ship because I don't like the fact that everything is turned to Constantine. I don't.
No, I don't.
But
and it's like they're really trying to accommodate him.
But here's the thing: everybody loved the Constantine show. He had a big following. It's just that the network just didn't want to back it anymore. No. So they're trying to give the fans, I'm playing devil's advocate right now, they're trying to give the fans what they wanted when all right, here's some Constantine stuff to satisfy that urge that everybody had for Constantine. I think after this season, will they right the ship and level things out a bit more? Will they start bringing back legend villains, Because let's face it, you can bring back Damien Dark. He's magical.
Yeah.
You can bring back.
Well, his daughter was in the last episode.
Yeah.
If you noticed, she's held up at the Time Bureau.
Plus, she's cute too.
She is cute. She is really cute. But the thing is, though,
and she had to think of Ray.
The guy that plays Constantine has been advocating for himself to play Constantine on the new Swamp Thing on the DC universe.
Yeah, Justice League.
And that's what that is. That's the Dark Justice League. There's an animated movie out, which is really cool with that, with Constantine, Swamp Thing, and everybody. So that would be kind of cool too. I'm waiting for that to come out because they did such a great job with Doom Patrol so far that I can't wait for Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's going to be rated R once again. And that's the thing. Just so you have a heads up, the DC universe.
Isn't Adrienne Barbeau supposed to be in there?
I wish she was. She's just amazing too. But the thing is, with the DC universe, it is adult content. So just be forewarned, parents out there watching this. It's not for kids. It really isn't. Because like in Doom Patrol, Brandon Fraser drops the F-bomb every 13 seconds in this show. He does. It's funny as hell, but it's not for kids. It really is not for kids. It's really what we as adult fans want out of our superhero shows.
Right.
They really made it real life. In other words, like superheroes are always like, "Hey now, Skippy,
drink your milk, take your vitamins."
It's not like that, like and that was the big thing when they did Titans and they were like, he's like, "Fuck Batman."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, he said the F word." It's like, okay.
And about Batman.
Oh, and about Batman. Batman should kick his ass. It's like, come on, dude.
That was like his older brother or his dad. Why would he say that?
Why would he say such things?
And that's simple because
he should be flogged.
And that's simple because every teen at some point in time rebels against their authority figure.
And this is true.
And that's what they're giving us.
This is true. This is very true. You know what? And like I said, it's a great thing. Now you got two more shows. We were going to quickly wrap up though. So far, under the radar, Black Lightning is not connected to any of this.
Yep.
In Black Lightning, they make reference to these heroes.
Yep.
Very few and far between, by the way, too.
Completely.
It's almost like they're comic book heroes, and like they don't exist in Freeland. You know what I mean? Like so you don't know exactly
where this lays in the landscape.
Yeah, like
all of this.
Like, are they seeing comic books of true heroes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing you have to keep mind of is that I think there was a Supergirl reference in Black Lightning, but keep in mind, Supergirl is not in the same universe as Arrow.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
So that lets you believe that Black Lightning and Supergirl are actually in the same universe.
Yes.
But you have to travel to another universe to get to Arrow and the Flash.
Yes.
Which is kind of
cool.
The Legends. And the Legends.
There's the Legends and Arrow and Flash are all together. So that's kind of cool. And by painful writing, Supergirl is in the same universe as Smallville. Yes.
Yeah.
They're on the same, but it's some
very
of the continuity.
clunky.
Some of the continuity was bad the way they did it.
It's very clunky.
But they're supposedly in the same universe as Smallville, kind of negating the original Supergirl from Smallville, who was unbelievably hot. But just putting that out there. Vanderbilt or Vander something is her name. I forgot what her name was, the actress. Okay. Even so much to the point that when they did the crossovers and they went to Smallville because Supergirl was taking time with Clark to do some of the form, they even played the original Smallville theme.
Dude, that was a mark out moment of moments.
It was. It really, really was.
Save me. So I mean,
that's so funny.
I like Supergirl. I like this rendition of her.
It really is good. It's solid.
I wanted them to right the ship because everything became a social commentary for a while there.
What show are we talking about?
Supergirl.
Supergirl, yes.
It became a social commentary about everything, and now it's getting back to what we.
And now they're doing the Red Sun. Is that what I'm getting out of that? In this season?
Version of it.
The version of the Red Sun, right? At first, I thought it was Power Girl. And then I was like, no, it's not Power Girl. And then when she finally got her costume, I'm like, no, this is definitely the Supergirl version of Red Sun.
Because we needed Amanda Waller to come in and take care of and clone in order for us to get the Power Girl character.
Right.
But then again, you never know. The way they're doing the writing nowadays, because if you look at the way they have this character, this alter ego Supergirl, Russian girl, she's not technically really bad.
No, she's misled by propaganda.
Yeah.
In a sense, because she's being told, well, first of all, she was in Russia, so she's being brought up by them. And then secondly, she's being mentored by Lex Luthor. This kind of also brings in that Lex Luthor Supergirl relationship that was in the comics in a weird way. But now he's mentoring her and giving her this disdain for Superman, for Supergirl, etc., saying, "Hey, they're
justice in the American way."
Yeah, they're against it. You Russian Supergirl, or what's going to save us, not them. Blah blah blah. You know, so it's kind of an interesting thing like that. But Black Lightning, like I said, has been staying out of it. I truly, honestly, they changed in their second season. If you notice, they changed a lot. Just in the second season, like they're doing, like in the beginning, like this whole book of this chapter, that, or whatever. Right. And I'm like, all right, kind of cool. It's not really referencing to anything because the titles mean nothing.
Right.
Because I'm trying to see if the titles actually coincide with each other, and they don't.
It's like they're doing a graphic novel overlay.
Overlay
of awesome.
But they're not really like they're not really coinciding with each other.
Yeah, the episodes do. Entity.
The episodes do.
Right.
You know, they are one from the other, but the titles make no sense. They're just saying something and they just made a title graphic for this thing. But I like where it's going. I truly want them to get off the black white kick. I really want them to get off of that because I think, and a lot of I go through message boards, and now granted, not everybody's not racist, okay, but you go through these message boards. I'm not saying that you're racist. I'm just saying that not everybody's racist. So I'm reading through these message boards, and it's echoing throughout all the message boards. Can we get off the racism? Can we get off the racism? Now, some of those could be people that are like, stop saying white people are bad. You know, I get the notion. I don't care. I'm not racist, but I get the notion on that show that, like, aside from my favorite villain, which is Tobias Wales, right? He just hates everybody. He don't care who you are.
Tobias Wales is awesome.
He's awesome, but it is a very, like, we don't trust white people in our town.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? I really get that a lot. And I've given certain points, and we have certain friends that we go back and forth on Facebook, and I said, well, this is what I got out of it, and this is why. And I write down, he said this, he said this, he said this, and he's doing this. And I'm like, I'm totally for using the platform to kind of like project a certain point of view.
Right.
But you get your point of view out and be done with it. Okay. That's my point. The town of Freeland, which is prominently black. Okay. And that does not mean that they're minorities, because Jefferson's pretty well off. I wouldn't call him a minority. Man's pretty well off. He's not.
Being a minority has nothing to do with money.
We said this before. He is the kingfish in a small pond, because you said it that he's doing great. Yeah, of course he's doing great. He's the only one doing great in the whole town.
Besides Tobias Wales.
Who hates everybody.
But being a minority has nothing to do with
you know
being
what, though?
poor.
I think in 2019.
Or rich.
But you know what, though? When you get with Jefferson, you get to say, hey, there's a better way to be. And this is how way we should conduct ourselves. And he's very virtuistic, and he's a model character to say, hey, you know, if you're going to be like somebody, you need to be like Jefferson, right? Because even the wife pisses me off. The wife pisses me off. Does she piss you off? His wife?
A lot. In the beginning, she did.
She does. She just gets on my nerves.
She was a bitch.
You
can't be out there being a superhero. You almost died. I'm trying to protect you, my babies, the city, and everything.
Why ain't you lighting up? They're coming in my house. Oh, something that I got real racist.
Yeah.
What?
Fuck, dude. Man.
You know what I mean? But like,
the more I try to defend you,
I know. I just give you more than I have to defend. I'm keeping you working. That's all. But she gets annoying. The daughters are hot.
People don't realize this is Bert's nose.
Bert's nose coming there.
He's waiting for the run in. So,
but the daughters are hot. The daughters are hot, dude. And I love the younger daughter is really cute, and I think she's playing the part the way she is. She's a young girl coming into her own, and she doesn't know things, and she's learning on the fly, just like most kids do.
Never wanted to have the powers.
Doesn't want to have the powers.
Never wanted to be a superhero.
Is shunning them, but now she's raw. You know, she has raw emotion. She wants to go after Tobias, and she doesn't think logically. She's a kid with rage.
Let's think about it.
You know,
Tobias Whale ripped her boyfriend's spine out.
Yeah. So there you go.
If there's any other reason to go after somebody, you rip out my loved one's spine.
She wants street justice for this guy, right?
Right.
So I get that, and I'm like, all right, you know what? They're playing her right. That's fine. The older daughter, Nessa, she's so sexy. She is a hot thing. I can't get over how hot she is, but she is a little too much sometimes. You're like, bitch, come on. Listen to your father for a second and stop acting.
Well, here's the thing. She is coming from the place of, I'm an adult. I make my own decisions. I know you've done this and you've been doing it for years, but now it's my time to shine. And here's what I'm doing.
It's almost like the younger daughter, what's her name, Jessica? She is too young to know right from wrong. And then Nessa is old enough to know better, but still too young to care. So she's a little reckless.
When it comes to certain things.
When it comes to things, she's too emotional. She does not think, but she's a lot smarter and a lot wiser than the younger sister.
Yeah.
Right. So you get that. And then you get Jefferson, who's like in his 50s. And Jefferson's been through everything. So Jefferson's like, dude,
he done took an ass whipping in the
You know what I mean? He's like, son of a bitch. He's like, bitch, please listen to me, please, bitch. I'm trying to tell you what to do. Please listen to me. And nobody wants to listen to him. Now, granted, everybody in that town listens to Jefferson. But
except
his kids,
for his family.
except for his kids. His wife. And I could see why in the beginning of the season, like in the beginning of the series, they're separated.
Right.
I'd be separated from that bitch too. But she's just an ignorant bitch. She's ignorant, right? She's just flat out ignorant. She's sexy though. She's a sexy older. See, there's a whole motif, man. They got some hot people on in Freeland. but she's
I
a
can't
bitch.
stand for you to talk to me, but come over here and take your clothes off.
Yeah. I'm still gonna hate this.
I'm gonna love it while it's happening, but please don't talk.
And I'm not calling you tomorrow.
Come on, man.
But that's the way that show's going. And but they've stayed out of the limelight of the
One of the
Arrowverse.
characters I love that we didn't mention was Gamby.
Gamby's great. Gamby, above anybody, knows everything. And Gamby keeps surprising you how
versatile,
how
tough.
Secret agent and tough he is.
He's
and
like,
that just goes to show, because you know why? Because he's an Italian, just like me. And that's why that's what it is.
Racist.
No, Italians are not white. We are not from, I was told this, we are not from the Caucasian mountains. We're not white Italians. That's why we're cool. We get a pass like that. So that's what Gamby's going on. Gamby's got this shit going on. He's a tailor. But he makes all this shit. He made Jessica's suits really cool.
He made all their suits.
He made all their suits, but Jessica's suits really, really cool. And does that. But they are staying under the radar. Do you think that's hurting the show? That they're staying out of the Arrowverse in a sense?
No.
You don't think so?
Not right now.
You think they should be, though, eventually?
To be honest with you, I would love to have them interact with other superheroes eventually.
I was thinking about this heavily, and I think, is it too much or too expected to be into the Arrowverse and do a crossover, or should we now just take characters that we're not putting in the Arrowverse and now not necessarily break off and make a whole other, like a lightning verse, but like have characters come in here? Like there was always rumored that they would have Static Shock come into Black Lightning.
You know what
as an
kind
example.
of fucking emotional thing I would go through if they brought Static Shock
they brought
in.
Static into the show,
Like,
right? Because
Virgil?
Yeah. Now understand, guys, if you don't know truly comics, like Black Lightning is
the progenitor.
He's the predecessor, per se. I don't want to say predecessor because it's still the same character, I think.
No, it's not.
But in Super Friends, he was Black Lightning.
Black Lightning and Static Shock are two different people.
No. Black Lightning and Black Vulcan. I'm sorry.
Black Vulcan.
Black Lightning and Black Vulcan, who was the on-air Super Friend, are the same character.
Right.
They changed the name literally for Super Friends. Okay.
Changed the costume up.
But they used that character, and I think there was legal reasons why that had to happen.
It was a name battle. Something was copyright.
Yeah.
It was a copyright
issue. So they changed the name to Black Vulcan, changed the costume around to say he's a different character, but he is actually the same person. That is Jefferson.
Right.
And in the new, I don't know if you watched the third season of Young Justice yet.
Not yet.
That on there, they have Black Lightning. And it's Jefferson.
Right.
And they're following almost
to the
TV show, which is kind of cool in a sense. But Black Lightning, Black Vulcan, the same people. So if you're wondering who Black Lightning is in this genre, Black Vulcan from the Super Friends, that was what we were introduced on television of this character. Because he dates back to the 70s. Black Lightning.
Black Vulcan.
Black Lightning.
Well, Black Vulcan was the 60s.
No. Black Vulcan was introduced on Super Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Black Lightning.
I'm mixing them up.
Yeah, Black Lightning, you're saying reverse. Yeah, because he was around with, it was late 60s, early 70s.
Yes.
Yeah, it was late 60s, early 70s. He goes back as far as seeing like the Green Lantern and the original Green Lantern. Not Hal Jordan, but the other one with a cape.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And
his weakness was wood.
Yeah, ooze.
The original Green Lantern.
The original Green Lantern was wood.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can beat his ass with a number 2 pencil.
That's it. It's it. I'm gonna SAT your ass right the hell out of here. But So that I think I would like them to bring in characters into Black Lightning, maybe non-electric characters, because it seems like it's getting a little overdone.
Well, it's not that they're all electric; they're all power based. They are not all electric.
The whole family's electric, except for Nessa.
Woogie.
Nessa's not. Nessa's different.
Yes,
but it's kind of funny.
Remember, because the younger daughter is the power battery that feeds him later on.
Yeah, which is kind of makes them kind of inseparable,
right?
Which I think was really, really neat.
Nessa
could go on his own.
Yeah,
on her own.
Nessa is like the Robin turned into Nightwing.
Yeah,
truly. The younger daughter is like the new Robin,
right? And she'll never be inseparable from the dad. You know what I mean? If anything, she could become the dad eventually. You know,
yeah.
In some way where she can sustain herself.
Right.
Now, with the show, like I said, I would like them to bring in characters like that. But I was looking at it, and in the season, they're bringing in the Freeland children that were in the tubes, and they all have different powers and stuff like that because they're the ones that were experimenting on. And it's almost like in Static, where they have bang babies, right? The bang babies all happen at once, almost like on the Flash,
right?
Almost exactly like the Flash.
Which kind of makes
TV
sense.
show, I should say.
Yeah, which will kind of make sense for one day the Flash to do a crossover onto Black
because
Lightning.
not for anything, the blast from Central City could have created bang babies.
Right.
That is very, very true, and they just haven't gotten to Freeland yet.
Right.
And it's almost like Fear the Walking Dead versus Walking Dead, where like I don't know what you know, so I'm discovering this now for the first time, and and as the viewer, you're like, oh, well, you don't get it, lady. This is what's happening, but we don't get it yet. Eventually, you're going to
screw.
Yeah. And I think that you're right. That would be a really cool thing, and could go that way because Flash is still going strong.
Flash is awesome.
Flash took off on its own and really became its own thing. They don't need Arrow, and that's the thing too. I don't think any of the shows need Arrow anymore.
Technically, I don't think any of the shows need each other. I think they all stand on their own.
They do.
They all have their own thing. Flash is great with the introduction of his daughter.
Yes,
that's really cool. I mean, I don't know
the dynamics of it and what they're doing with it, and she's helping Earbod Thorn.
Yeah,
that's creating a great dynamic in there. She's really cute too. There's a lot of cute chicks on these shows. I ain't gonna lie. I like these girls, but
he's not even a comic book fan or anything. He just likes the hot girls on the shows.
Just hot girl. I turn the volume down.
Turn the volume down.
Like you fast forward past the superhero stuff.
Light a couple candles. Take off my clothes. Whip out the baby oil.
I got a little classic cup on CA. Giggity.
Ooh,
but they could. I think they could entertain themselves. They could work on their own. I think for the geeks and the nerds, having the crossovers really work.
It's awesome to see. Because we grew up watching these characters interact all the time.
Yes.
They were our Justice League. They were our Titans. They were our whatever.
Right.
And we want to see that relationship grow,
Yeah, honestly. And having the multiverse and stuff like that, and be able to see, like, it's been a great thing to see, like, Michael Shipp, the original Flash, from the 90s, interact on the new Flash. And be the Flash.
When they showed him in his 90s Flash costume.
What a geek moment that was. Yeah. What a geek moment. Because let me tell you, if you haven't seen that, and you can watch it, it's online all over the place. You definitely want to watch that. It's campy.
Or support him by buying the DVD collection.
Yes.
Because he still gets paid from that.
Yes.
And he gave me hours of entertainment watching that show back in the day.
It's a beautifully done DVD set, by the way. Too.
Yes,
I do have it. And it's campy, but it's a great show.
Everything back then was a little campy.
It was based off of the original Michael Keaton Batman.
Yes.
Danny Elfman actually did the music for it. So it definitely, you're going to get that feel, that look and feel on there. But what a great show. And then
that suit was awesome.
It was. It was just
That
so
suit was
great.
everything.
So great. It was perfect. It literally was a perfect comic book rendition of the Flash costume.
For its day, and even today, that suit is the model.
It is. He looked great. He made our Barry today look stupid. Standing next to him.
The TV Flash's suit is better than the Batman suit with the bat nipples and all that kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than today's Flash suit.
It is.
Most of the suits, the only one that comes close, and even that's not really that good, is the Superman suit.
Which is not that great.
Like I said,
I don't
really
like it as much.
Because of the texture and all that kind of stuff.
The thing with the attachment of the way the cape attaches, I'm just not crazy about it. But it looked a little bit better in black. On the crossover. Yeah, it looked better in black. But these shows, now finally, because we are running so long with the show.
Yeah,
but
we just got to talking.
But the final thing that's going on here, and I think this is going to be the replacement of Arrow, is the upcoming Batwoman. She was introduced in the last crossover
event, yeah,
and played by Ruby Rose, who's in herself. She plays the same character in every show she plays. I mean, whatever. She's this tattooed chick with short hair. I don't know who she is. You know what I mean? But she plays Batwoman. Batwoman is the cousin of Bruce Wayne. Bruce was an innovator because everybody just wants to be a bat. You notice that? Like, there's so many bat.
I want to be a bat. I want to be a bat.
I want to be a bat person too. You know, it's like, come on. You know,
according to the movie, he was only a bat because he was afraid of him.
Right. And everybody else is, that's such a great idea. I want to be a bat too. You know, so she comes in there. She's, for some reason, Batman took off.
He's just
Bruce Wayne left. I don't know why. He's probably like, this shit's so stupid. He just took off. He's an
idiot. I'm a billionaire.
There were some things that they were saying.
I got like 60 hot women come. I'm gonna take my money.
You know how at the end of the Christopher Nolan trilogy, how Batman takes off, pretends to be dead, and wants to just live out his life, and he's in France, right? And he's in
Alfred
and Catwoman or whatever,
drinking.
Right? And they kind of played off in this Batwoman original origin story that it takes from there,
right?
That he took off. He's gone. Bruce Wayne's gone. Batman's gone. So she goes into a deserted Wayne Enterprises, and which it's like when you go in there, it's like the power's barely on. There's nobody there. Gotham City is the trench of trenches.
It's a fucking toilet.
Nobody wants to go to Gotham City at all. It's a horrible city. It's just horrible. And she's there, and she's Batwoman, and she has like gadgets and blah, blah, blah. And I'm hoping that we'll get some good things out of it. I'm hoping she looked good. She looked like comic, but she's a little campy.
She basically found Alicia Silverstone's outfit and rebranded it for Batwoman.
Exactly.
Because there's no way that she knew how to get the bat suit made. Yeah. So she was walking down the hall, fell through a hole. Oh shit! It's the Batcave.
Oh, look at this. Oh, there's a red wig. It's 60-year-old red wig. This must be Yvonne Craig's wig.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's like, what? You know, because back then in the 60s thing, Yvonne Craig had very short brown hair, and she would put a red wig on to be Batgirl.
Under her cowl.
Imagine how hot that was. Her head must have been sweaty as a son of a bitch. She must have smelled like a son of a bitch, I'll tell you that much.
Like a gym sock.
Oh, my God. So that's what we were talking about with the Arrowverse. Is it declining? Is it going to decline after Arrow? What do you think?
Well, with the Arrowverse, seeing as how they're basically ending Arrow, so the Arrowverse is coming to its conclusion.
And what are you going to call it?
It's going to forever be the Arrowverse. It just ends. But then again, nothing really ends because they're not killing off all the characters. They're not actually killing. Well, we don't know. But they're not actually killing off Oliver Queen. They're not killing off Mr. Terrific. Felicity's leaving the show before the final season. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off because she's like my favorite on the show.
I love
It
that
really
character.
And you know, but I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
I don't want it to. I don't
maybe
want it
the
to.
Birds of Prey talk is going to kick up again with Canary.
Well, that's going to be a movie, so it may spawn.
Yeah, but
it may
they
spawn
might
a
spawn a
series.
series again.
They spawn a
you know?
series. It seems like though too that, and I heard because Disney's doing it with their streaming service, the Marvel properties, as well as DC Universe, that a lot of series are being concentrated for those streaming services,
Right.
more so than CW.
Right.
So you're seeing a grittier, a rated R version of the superhero shows. So it's very possible you might see continuity shift to where eventually they're going to weed them out one by one, and then you won't have any superhero shows in CW at all, and you're going to have, and these shows are going to end, which is going to suck for those who don't subscribe to those
streaming services.
You know, I mean, I can tell you the streaming services shows. Titans, I was like, it's okay. It was a solid show.
I like it.
Doom Patrol, I'm telling you, you're going to be like hands over fist. This is so much better than Titans. And you're going to say, well, like Doom Patrol is such an archaic callback.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To say, well, like I really wasn't in the Doom Patrol. I'd seen them on Titans, Teen Titans, and you know, but I didn't really know anything about them. And I started watching it, and I'm like, this show is so much better than every other show on there. It's crazy. I can't wait for Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing, if it runs in the same avenue of how they do Doom Patrol, it's going to be hands over fists. It's going to be great. And I think people will forget about CW. And CW can go back to having transgender vampires. Because that's what they have on there. They have really good looking vampires who some are gay, some are transgender, some are anything like that. You know, whatever political thing they want to do to try and be PC. CW, you go with it. But I think we're going to be leaning towards the DC Universe streaming to get our comic book content as far as shows are concerned. I think that's the way it's leading.
It may be. I hope not. I'd rather keep my Growing up, you would get your superheroes few and far between unless it was Saturday morning cartoons or afternoons and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And then they would whip out a live-action superhero TV show that maybe lasts, maybe it wouldn't. 66 Batman. You had Spider-Man. You had a bunch of them, but I want to be able to have the next generation, my kids, your kids, whoever kids, be able to get all of this without having to go to a streaming service.
It would be nice. It really, really would.
But, you know,
it really, really would.
Everything boils down to dollars and cents.
That's what it comes down to. So we went really long.
If it don't make money,
I wasn't even timing this, to be honest with you. We went really long. This was a big topic, though, and I wanted to get it out. I wanted to jump it out into it because things are happening right now, and I wanted to make sure that we were on top of it for here.
Right.
In any way, we still love it. That's what it comes down to. We love these characters. We love these shows. I'm tuning in every week, good, bad, or indifferent. I know you are too.
Exactly.
I mean, we discuss these shows off the air and then say, is it going to be a good topic for the show? Yeah, no, whatever. We'll see what happens. But I hope you guys are watching. I hope you guys are checking it out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below,
folks. And if any topic interests you, please contact us.
Yeah,
we have no problem talking about it. We are here for you.
Yes,
well, we're here for us, but mostly for you, because we love it, and we know there's a bunch of you guys out there who love it as much as, even more so, or getting into it as we are.
Yes,
and we want to be there, and we want to help usher this whole thing in.
That's right. So help us by helping you. Hit that subscribe button down below. Share it. Share it to everybody. You can check us out on Facebook. It's called Lost in Saturday Morning / Capes Not Included. You can like the Facebook page there. But mainly subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got plenty of more content on here. There's a lot of content on the channel, on the network. We have stuff for wrestling, comedy, nerd stuff, and more. So by all means, there's something for everybody. For LeGrand Jackson, my name is Danny J. Until next time, keep your cape in the wind. Don't do anything at all because my stuff doesn't work. Keep your cape in the wind. Where's my stuff? Hold on a second. We can't end the show. There we go. Keep your cape in the wind and your nose to the stars. Have a great day, everybody.